Welcome to Sacred Empowerments of the Divine Feminine. How are you doing, lovely ladies, my sisters? I hope everybody is doing well. I am doing great. I've been kind of sitting here for about an hour. Um, I had taking notes last night before I laid down, or really after I laid down the first time, and then I got back up. But I've been sitting here, really just processing the message and the delivery thereof. Okay, the what I want to share and what the mother has put on my heart to share with you today. And I realized at this moment, okay, that you have to be really careful how people will project onto you. You have to be so freaking careful how people will project onto you. And the thing is that I like to believe that sometimes they don't know they're doing it. You know, I do believe and do know that some do know they're doing it. But either way, you, I, you, we have to be very careful how we internalize other people's fixations on things as it relates to us that is not beneficial for us to join in that fixation. Okay. That's just a little sidebar because I've been sitting here, message, got my notes, everything, you know what I'm saying? Got notes and stuff. And I have a process or whatever that I go through to come on and chop it up with you all. And I enjoy it. I enjoy everything that I do on my channel. I enjoy my channel, to be honest with you. I hope you guys do too. Um, but nevertheless, that was a little sidebar. I guess I needed to kind of share that or say it out loud because it's like what was the stagnation right there in that moment? What was keeping me from pressing record? And as I started to break it down and started to trace it back to a previous conversation, I was like, I'll be there. That's why you have to be careful who you entertain, when you entertain them, if you allow yourself to entertain them. Um, and that just is what it is. But I was able to sit the projection to the side. So now we're gonna get to what the mother has to say. All right, so as I've already said, welcome back in. Welcome back in. I hope everybody's been having a great week. I hope you have had a great Saturday. By the time you see this, it'll be well into the afternoon. So last night I laid down and I was asking the mother. I said, "Well, what do you want to say this week for Sacred Empowerments of the Divine Feminine? What do you want to share with us?" And I heard her say, "What's real?" And I was like, "Okay, that's not an answer," but it was. But you know how the mother do. You know, she's speaking in parables a lot of times. I said, "Okay, well, what's real to you right now?" And she said, "What's real to you?" And I was like, "Oh, we doing this? This what we doing?" Okay. And I thought about it to give a response, and I said, I feel like I'm being recalibrated. She would say, there it is, spiritual recalibration. So we're going to talk about the secret weapon, okay, if you will, um, the power of mastering your seasons of recalibration. Okay. And as I started taking notes on recalibration, I first Googled it. This is not my first time dealing with this energy, but before I think I've done a message during the Sacred Empowerments about spiritual recalibration, and it came to me that way from the standpoint of brakes, having your brakes on your car recalibrated. that was the symbolism that was given to me. Still means the same thing ultimately, but this time when I Googled it, I really enjoyed Google's definition of recalibration. And it says the process of readjusting a tool. Recalibration is the process of readjusting a tool, strategy, or mindset to improve its accuracy, effectiveness, or alignment with new circumstances. And the key word that we're really going to look at, as she was sharing, is the word circumstances, right? But as I read that definition, I was thinking about my channel. I was thinking about my achievements thus far. I was thinking about my start, how I started it, where I was in life, why I started it, what was my goal at the time when I started. And this was 3.5, almost 4 years ago, 3.5 years ago, roughly, give or take. Um, and then I've gone through a couple of cycles of refreshing the channel. Um, I've shared with y'all that back in December, when the channel really kind of took off, I had already been working on it for 3 years at that point. Okay. And so it went from like 220 subscribers, and it held that 220 for a good minute. I mean, I went through several cycles of feeling discouraged, which is normal, from the content creation side of things, right? And so back in December, you know, I was at the park and I just did a couple of tarot readings. I wasn't doing tarot readings at the time. When I first started the channel, I was. Sacred Empowerments was it included the cards. It was, we walked through the energies as divine feminines together and really do a deep dive. And then I adjusted. I adjusted into something else as I started to process through my spiritual awakening, right? So that was a readjustment. And so I held there for about 2.5 years, feeling discouraged, feeling the ups and downs, circumstances changing in my life, some circumstances not changing in my life. And so my channel has become, and it always was meant to be, an expression of my evolution, right? Sometimes you have to really step back, especially if you are creative. You have to step back and see and observe what you're creating as an extension of you. It's like looking at your creation, looking at what you're working on, using it as a mirror to see something about yourself. Okay. So back in December, I went from 220. Like I said, it had been holding at that spot. And in a matter of 2 months, it went from 220 to like 20,000, somewhere up in through there. Okay. And it was shocking, but not really, because I was aiming and manifesting, right, a certain amount of success, as we all do when we are creating, right? So when I read this definition, I thought about the channel. And for those of you who've been here with me for a while, um, if you've been here with me since before the tarot got added to the channel, and if you've been here from the beginning when I first started doing the tarot, and subsequently since then, you can see that I've made some really recent changes again, because there is a recalibration that's taking place in me, both spiritually, but also in my work, which is an extension of my spiritual evolution. And so I thought about the channel, right? I thought about the way that it's playing out as a mirror before me. Um, and it was like a aha moment, another aha moment, because I've revisited this energy of being recalibrated. But it definitely is a secret weapon to understand when you are in a season of recalibration. It's an art to it, right? And I heard the mother say, as I started taking my notes, untapped reserves. I was like, okay, untapped reserves. And then I heard her say, the gift of circumstances. And that's when it started getting good, because it's like it's an offering that circumstances give us, but are we willing to receive it? The circumstances give you the gift of tapping into aspects of yourself, levels of creativity, levels of expression that has been sitting there on reserve, right? And you haven't tapped into it. But the circumstances, right, allow you to recalibrate, to readjust, to look at what tools you're using, see if the tools you're using fit this new season that you're in. The circumstances give the gift of accessing your untapped reserves. And I was like, ooh, let me think about that. That's good. Because this it means that as you are right now, as gifted as you are right now, you could be operating on max efficiency right now. I mean, you are doing good, you're glowing, you're feeling good, you're working your work, you know what I'm saying? You're doing your thing and it's working, your manifestations are coming in, all is well, right? You could be operating at max capacity, and yet there is still an untapped reserve, which means the benefits of being divinely feminine never run out. There is no end, there is no limit to your potential. We experience a lot of circumstances, a lot of shit be happening, be going on, life be lifing. Okay, that wheel of fortune be turning and everything. And as the wheel of fortune turns, so does the days of our lives, honey. Okay, shit happens. The good, the bad, all of it. But those circumstances, and whatever the circumstances you are facing at any point in your life, there is a gift secretly hidden in that circumstance. And mastering recalibration allows you to always be in a divine flow state, because the circumstances requires for you to adjust. The issue becomes that we don't adjust. We try to take old methods, old strategies, outdated ideals, outdated identities of self, and apply it when a new circumstance has arrived in your life, both good or bad. For instance, say you woke up in the morning and just out of nowhere, you're a celebrity. Everybody knows your name. Everybody. You can't go nowhere. And everybody knows you. You went from being Yolanda sitting in the city she's sitting in, minding her business, able to go to Kroger's, get her little goods, able to go to Walmart, don't nobody know me. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I'm able to move about, and who know me, and who don't. And because I just relocated, don't nobody know me in this motherfucker besides my landlord and the people at the bank and my children. You understand what I'm saying? But what if I woke up in the morning and everybody in the world knew my name, knew me by name, by face, by identity, right? That circumstance, I don't know if it would be a good or bad one. I guess it depends on the person, right? It depends on me and what I like and what I don't like. It probably would be that good for me because I'm a little bit of an introvert. I don't mind being known and everything, but I do like to be able to just you know move about without all that. You know what I mean? Commotion and shit. But nevertheless, that circumstance that some would find good, some would find bad, regardless, it would require for me to adjust. I would have to immediately adjust to a new way of existing because something new has entered into my reality. Popularity, fame has entered into my reality. Being noticed, being recognizable across the world has overnight entered into my reality. And I'm sitting here saying this, and I'm like, if that shit ever happened, you will have to revisit this video, right? Because you might be prophesying. I don't know. I'm not desiring it, but I know how my gift works. So if you woke up in the morning, in the rising, and you went from being Nancy, the nurse on the job at the hospital in Cincinnati. I'm just calling, and people on your job know you, your family know you. You was born and raised in Cincinnati, you got your friend group, but for the most part, there is still this distance between you and people who are perfect strangers, people who don't know you, right? You woke up in the morning and now you are Nancy, the super nurse, and every fucking body knows you all the way to New Zealand to New York City. Okay, from Tuscaloosa, Alabama to Africa, you are Nancy, the super nurse. All right, and everybody know you. Your life has changed. Your circumstances have changed. And that requires a new strategy for living, a new strategy for rest, a new strategy for how you're going to, because with fame usually comes money, okay? People want to give, people want to send you stuff. You got to get your P.O. box because they're going to be wanting to send you gifts and stuff. People want to be in close proximity to you. People are pulling, people want pictures, people want autographs. This is a new method of developing a certain level of patience, a certain level of openness, while still maintaining a certain level of privacy. This is a total shift. We have micro moments of that, and that was an exaggeration, but and it does happen for some people, depending on what line of work you're in. But we even if those of us who are not aiming to be celebrities or not aiming to be famous or anything like that, living regular everyday lives, we have micro examples of that take place in our life more often than we sometimes observe, that we are aware of. Circumstances shift so quickly and sometimes so subtly and sometimes very loudly and overtly, right? um the ability to recalibrate, the ability to know that something is going to need a readjustment. This could be a tool or the way you are approaching a relationship, whether you should continue to build or pour into a relationship. This could have to do with your line of work. This could have to do with your business, your entrepreneur endeavor. This could have to do with your health and wellness. It could have to do with a lot of things. New circumstances require new strategies or a new mindset. Because what was effective yesterday may not be effective today. And as a content creator and as a high priestess, both in the spiritual realm and both in the earthly realm, as a content creator who creates spiritual content, YouTube is teaching me so much about adjusting. Adjusting. But ultimately, I've been in a period of recalibration for about a week and a half, 2 weeks now, right? I've brought in some different tools. Okay, AI being one of them, just when it comes to the thumbnails and things like that, but also allowing what has been created, the tool that has been created to help me wrap my mind around the content creation aspect of things. Because though I've been doing it for 3 years, in 3 years, things have changed. In 3 years, I've gone from 40 to 43 alone, right? So in 3 years, my mind, my brain is 3 years older. So if I don't adjust, if you don't adjust, divine feminine, with the new circumstances, if you don't adjust with what is required of you at this time as you observe the circumstances, then you ultimately move yourself into an unnecessary season of stagnation because you're not in flow state, right? You're not in making sure that what you're doing, how you're executing it, is conducive for the expansion that you want to experience. The expansion and the need to expand as a divine being is innate, whether you are aware of it or not, whether you are honoring it or not. It is there. It is innate. That is an aspect, I believe of the divine essence of humanity that cannot be turned off. And if it gets turned off, then that's when you're looking at a person who is stuck in addictions, or you're looking at a person who is, battling depression, or you're looking at a person who is, at the verge of unaliving themselves. They're losing hope because they've lost, or they've let their desire to expand click off. When you don't recalibrate according to the circumstances, you run the risk of your desire to expand, your inspiration clicking off on you. And that's something we want to avoid because that is directly connected to our divinity. That is what makes us divinely feminine. Okay? That is what separates you from just feminine and moves you into divinely feminine. That energy of inner inspiration, inspired, right? So recalibrating when your circumstances have appeared to change is required. Since I have gone through my little through for those 3 years, I started my channel in the middle of, I won't say the beginning. It was probably the middle part of my awakening journey. Um, but nowhere near the end of that motherfucker. Okay. I was knee deep in breaking down all of the hard places that conditioning had created in my psyche, in my emotional body, in my spirit. I was being broken, right? And I started the channel in the middle of that breaking. I started the channel, you know, while being tossed around in like a whirlwind. And I feel like that was intentional because it really helped me. It was the proper tool at that time to help me make the adjustment that I needed to make. It allowed me to be the observer of my circumstances and move me out of being the victim. I can be the observer of my circumstances by taking from my experiences and presenting it to the collective in a way that maybe we can share in that experience in certain ways that will expand both me and both you, right? It was intentional. So, in those 3 years, going from being homeless, having a place to stay, but it wasn't my home. It wasn't my place to stay. Having my kids with me, between me and their father, moving them back and forth. Um, when they're with me, we're sleeping on couches, we're sleeping on floors. We're not really comfortable, but we are doing the best we can to be grateful and to make the best of what the divine provides me while I am in this season of recalibration. And it was not easy at all. But the foundations that had been laid in my mind about what life is absolutely had to come down, because that whole situation was faulty. Everything about what I thought I'm here to do, I'm capable of doing, how to get it done, who I am, what I am, all of that was illusion, and it had to come down. And so, though it was very challenging, though I had to sacrifice quite a bit of physical comfortability, it always remained something that I had to do. I had to see it all the way through. You understand? And now that we have adjusted, now that the expansion has happened and I've relocated and I have now my own place, my kids have their own rooms, things are back to the way they were before I entered that season of my evolution. You feel me? Like, things are good, but things are also better because I have all of that experience, all of that divine wisdom to now go with me, right? And it still is the need to recalibrate. I've been here like a month now, a month or so now, and almost every day my spirit team has to remind me that you're not in that season. I don't know. Like, it's always like they always have to remind me, like, you're that season is over. And so I've been micro recalibrating, right? I've been readjusting in small phases. I've been observing and celebrating the accomplishments, but also observing old skin that has to be shed, okay? Because I'm not in that space, place, time, frame, mindset. That's been accomplished and over. This is new. And with every new circumstances, there is a recalibration. There is a readjustment. There is a re strategizing. There is looking at and making sure you are using the proper spiritual tools, physical tools to get the job done that is before you now. There is a new mindset that comes with new circumstances. The gift of circumstances, when we use the power of recalibration, allows you to be in and remain in and tap into a flow state so that you don't become hindered or blocked or blinded or disillusioned by the illusion of the circumstances. Whatever you are experiencing, and even more particularly with what we would consider a negative experience, like a negative circumstances, something that is challenging you, something that is opposing you or facing you, or at least this is the way you are perceiving it. And this is the beautiful part about the gift of the circumstances, that hopefully after we have this conversation, that many of you will be able to no longer perceive the circumstance as opposing you, as adversarial to you. It's not. The person might be that's causing the circumstance, but this is where you rise above the limitations of the physical people, whether it's on your job, whether it's in your family, whether it's a witch or a warlock or this or that. We do many oracle readings, tarot readings, where spirit is going to uncloak the witches, the witchcraft, the warlocks. I hope to curate a channel where we uncloak and we uncover, and she is allowed to bring it to your awareness, to confirm for you that that is what's happening. And also through other modalities like sacred empowerments of the divine feminine, we can rise above it, right? So I'm trying to have a more well-rounded, and I appreciate all of my sisters and my brothers who tap in with me, and I hope that you are being confirmed and affirmed, okay? But when you rise in perspective, the mindset, like when you shift above and see through the physical thing that is creating the circumstance. Let's say it is a challenge with paying bills. So then the physical thing is money. That physical thing is symbolic for a need to evaluate where you need to make an adjustment, where you need to look at the tools you are using, where you need to shift your mindset, because you can easily be occupying a mindset of lack and then be wondering why you're barely able to make ends meet with three jobs. Three jobs. And the mindset of poverty is actually why you have three jobs. Okay? The mindset of chasing something you feel you are lacking is why you are overly chasing. This is the recalibration and the observing of your how you are showing up in your reality, that the circumstances is gifting you if you see it as the gift that it is. It is affording you the opportunity to step back and readjust. And by stepping back and looking at how you can readjust, what can you bring in that is smarter, not harder? What can you change about the way you are perceiving reality as opposed to reacting to the illusion, right? Because ultimately, expansion, growth requires an improvement in effectiveness. Growth and expansion requires an improvement in alignment, in adjustment, in accuracy. The new circumstance, whatever it is, divine feminine is gifting you the opportunity to be limitless. I want you to think about that. The circumstance is gifting you an opportunity that is your right as divine to be limitless, actively, operatively limitless, not limitless in theory, not limitless in concept of divinity, but actively and operatively inspired. The circumstance, the pressure, the challenge that is squeezing you is offering you the gift to tap into your limitless potential. not using old tools for new circumstances. Now, when she said that, I immediately thought about this scripture. Y'all know I got to do it. I immediately thought about, and I heard the old wineskin, right? When Jesus was talking about the old wineskin. Now here in Matthew, the ninth chapter, right? I'm gonna read you this. Then the disciples of John the Baptist came to Jesus asking, "Why do we and the Pharisees often fast as a religious, as a ritual, as rigidness, we fast?" Okay? As a religious exercise, but your disciples do not fast. And Jesus replied to them, "Can the guest of the bridegroom mourn while the bridegroom is with them? The days will come when the bridegroom is taken away from them, and then they will fast." I want you to understand, Yeshua was a bad mom. You know what I mean? You got to really listen to what she's saying, okay? Listen. The Pharisees and the people following John the Baptist asked Jesus about fasting. Jesus replied, "The guest of the bridegroom mourn." So he is connecting fasting to mourning. Okay. He is connecting fasting to mourning. But while the bridegroom is with them, the guests do not mourn, cannot mourn. The days will come when the bridegroom is taken away from them, and then they will mourn, and then they will fast. So, religion, little sidebar, because this is what I'm seeing as I'm reading this. Approaching your life, and this is why you have to even be careful with your rituals. I speak from experience, because I've had many times where my spirit team will prompt me to adjust a ritual, like something I've been doing and it's been working, and so all is well. And so I'll go into another circumstance and I'll try to apply that same way of manifesting, that same way of doing the candles, whatever it is. And it's like, matter of fact, I just had in the last 2 weeks them kind of pulling my coattail on how I am approaching my crafting. It has to remain fluid. It has to remain feminine, and feminine is water, and feminine is fire, right? But it has to remain fluid, which means recalibrate. For one, when it comes to spell casting, it becomes religious when you have not prepared your inner sanctuary, and yet you are projecting your desires, your wants, everything into a physical tool or symbol, because everything that is physical is an icon. You are projecting your desires into the icon while ignoring the work that needs to be done within you so that you can hold the vibration of what you're attempting to manifest. This is why a lot of people spell work don't work. It don't work. Okay? Because you're approaching it from a religious mindset. He's saying that John the Baptist, them people, okay, and the Pharisees and them people are constantly in a season of mourning. And why are they mourning? They are mourning, mind you, they're talking to Yeshua. He is in essence saying, you are mourning because you don't have me. My disciples don't mourn because they have me with them. It is them that I am showing and revealing the mysteries of the Spirit to. It is not you. So you are mourning. They are not mourning. When I am absent from them, they will fast. Now, but no one, this is Yeshua still speaking, but no one puts a piece of unshrunk new cloth on an old garment. Mm, okay. No one puts a piece of unshrunk new cloth on an old garment. He's still showing a parallel between John the Baptist and them people, the Pharisees, and his disciples. See, Yeshua is ultimately the icon of recalibration, right? Yeshua is the icon of the adjustment and the adjustor. The disciples are being moved away from what is old, which is being represented in this particular text by the icons of John the Baptist and them people and the Pharisees. That religiosity, that mourning is passed away because the new spiritual movement and era is here. The new spiritual era is here through the icon of Yeshua. But the John the Baptist and them people and the Pharisees and them Sadducees too, they are stuck in an old time frame, an old mindset. They are the old garment. He really is low key, high key, insulting them. I don't know if you catching what I'm saying, because he is calling them the old garment, and they probably went right over their motherfucking head. He's calling them the old garment. He's calling their beliefs the old beliefs. He's calling their fastings outdated. He's calling their rituals outdated. He's calling their mourning outdated because something has come into and created a new circumstance, which requires a recalibration. His disciples are being given that recalibration so they do not mourn. No one puts a piece of unshrunk new cloth on an old garment, for the patch pulls away from the garment, and a worse tear results. Nor is new wine put into old wine skin that have lost their elasticity. Otherwise, the wine skins burst, and the fermenting wine spills, and the wine skins are ruined. But new wine is put into fresh wine skins, so both are preserved. Not using old tools when a new circumstance is the power of recalibration, and it is the gift that the circumstance affords you. Is what you're pouring into divine feminine, is what you're pouring into right now capable of containing the expansion that you are expecting? Are the people you're pouring into Is the job you're pouring into? Is the relationship you're pouring into? Is the affiliations you're pouring into? Is it capable of containing, of holding, of preserving your expansion that you're expecting, that you are actually working towards, which is why you're pouring in? But we pour into things, we pour into people, we pour into old mindsets, we pour in with old outdated tools, we pour in with old rituals, outdated rituals, we pour in with old outdated spiritual systems. Shit is outdated, very outdated. We pour into things that are outdated because we are refusing to tap into the spirit of flow. We are refusing to honor that the spirit does not like to be placed in containment. So then when the circumstances hit, we feel grounded and rooted in the ritual that we had passed down from great grandmama and them, whoever, okay, passed it down. We know it works because they passed it down and it worked for them, and I've been doing it and it's been working for me, and I'm gonna keep doing it because this is the way I manifest. This is what I do. This is all the way it works. Whatever the case may be. But the question then is, are you rising? Are you really expanding? Or are you doubling down on containing, on the containment, so that no expansion can be had or experienced? Your ritual should evolve with you for it to be truly spiritual and not just witchcraft. The good Christians will browbeat everybody who doesn't perceive or apply this tool according to their religion. They will call everybody who has an expansive view on spirituality witches. When they the biggest witches walking the earth, you understand what I'm saying? Like, they the biggest witches walking the earth. They are so ritualized, it's not even funny. A spiritualist, an occultist, an esoteric discoverer of spiritual existence and what is and why it is and what is the lesson and what am I, who am I, why am I, is not ritual and religion. That's not the same thing. That's not the same thing. Is what you're pouring into actually honoring your divinity? Because we can do the trendy thing, we can do the fad thing, we can get caught up in the catchphrases and the this and the that, or we can really grab hold to what is being gifted to us, the unlimited potential that is being gifted to us through the circumstance. The circumstance is providing you the opportunity to expand yourself, to grow, to evolve, to become more accurate, to become more wise, to become more effective at whatever it is you are putting your hand to become more aligned with your identity, your divinity, and the new circumstance, to become more aligned with flow state. The signs of recalibration happens all the time, right? And the awareness of it is necessary. So I want to give a couple signs that I have experienced and I have observed. The first sign that I have observed when I am being recalibrated spiritually is I can instinctively know that I am in a period of shedding. I'm in a period of release. No longer being inspired by what used to inspire me. When you are in an energy of you are no longer inspired by something that used to inspire you, it is evident that it's time to let it go. But then this is what we do. We hold on to the shit. We keep going 2 more years in a relationship that we don't even like this person. We hate to even see them coming home from work. And if we come home from work, we might just sit outside in the parking lot, sit outside in the driveway for a whole nother hour before we go inside because we really don't, you know what I mean? And we just sit and we just stay in things. We just tolerate things. We stay longer than we have to in connections, in relationships, dealing with people. We stay longer than we have to. We stay on jobs longer than we have to. We stay working in a particular field or industry longer than we have to. We just stay there. And this is a sign of not tapping into the secret weapon of recalibration and embracing that recalibration will come. The need to recalibrate yourself will come because you are a spirit and spirits don't like containment. Okay? It's just what it is. But when you become more spirit than you are physical, right? When we're talking about breaking out of the illusion of of the physicalness of reality, when you become more spirit in the way you approach your reality and not physical, like dial that down a little bit. Seeing everything from like, I'm human, I'm me. This is, oh my God, this is me. It's not you. It's not you. It is the container housing you, but it's not you. So when we put on spirit, when we transform, when we become spirit, then we won't stay in things and we won't participate in things and we won't keep showing up to things and showing up for people that we are no longer inspired. We will honor the fact that's got to be over because I ain't even feeling it no more. I don't know why. I don't need a why. It just ain't. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna chuck the deuces. Okay. I'm gonna move on, right? Because it's time to move on. It's time to calibrate. Your lack of inspiration is a sign that it's time to shed something, somebody, a mindset, a strategy, a tool. It's time to release. Number two, procrastination, ironically, is a sign that a period of recalibration is upon you and that observing it and being aware of it is necessary. Avoiding the work because the method you're using doesn't align with you either at all or anymore. The method you're using doesn't align and may not be the proper approach for you in this circumstance, in this new season, as it relates to this new goal, this new effort, this new endeavor. Procrastination, avoiding it because you don't confidently feel subconsciously that the method and the strategy is either going to work, is the right way to do it. And so it's manifesting as doubt or fear. But it's really a moment for you to say, this is my goal, but I'm not I could be going a little bit harder towards it. I feel like I'm procrastinating. I keep saying next week, next week, next week. You know what I'm saying? What's the holdup? The holdup is you need to observe the circumstances surrounding that goal and readjust your approach to it. We tend to do the this is how everybody does it. We tend to fall prey to the this is how everybody does it. This is how they told me to do it. This is how I read I was supposed to do it. This is how it right? And that's that projection shit that I was talking about in the beginning, okay? That's a projection. It may or may not align with you. And so the this is how everybody does it approach to your goals, to your relationships. Oh my God. This is how fucking everybody else does it as it relates to your spirituality, as it relates to your religiosity, as it relates to your relationships, as it relates to your marriage, as it relates to your job, as it relates to your business and your goals. This is how everybody does it is assassinating your potential, quite literally. You okay? Because you are an individual divine being. You are not a carbon copy. We talked about that in another Divine Feminine. If you did not watch it, you might want to go watch it. It's either episode 1 or episode 2. This is episode 3 of season 4. So check that out if you didn't watch it. We talked about that. I think it was last episode. You're not a carbon copy of anything out here. You're a carbon copy of the creator herself. But that's a pretty good damn carbon copy in light of her wisdom, vastness, expansiveness, limitlessness. Like that's the kind of carbon copy we're trying to be if we're gonna be a carbon copy. But a carbon copy of Sugarfoot over here, no, that's because Sugarfoot has to be the carbon copy of the divine that she is imprinted with. You have to be the carbon copy of the divine that you are imprinted with. That that's how that works. This this is how everybody does it. This mass education system that we have all received is why it's so boring around this motherfucker. It ain't gonna hold you. Anyway, it's getting a little more colorful as we move into this new era, this new circumstance. The spiritual awakening, even on a mass level, requires recalibration, requires for you to be aware of your surroundings, to not be walking around with your head in the sky, to be aware, but not only aware, but understanding spiritual truth. Okay? There is a need, there is a requirement to understand spiritual truth because there's this new circumstance, there's this new age, there's this new era coming in. So, like Yeshua, dealing with John the Baptist and them people and them Pharisees, you don't want to find yourself being an icon of the old garment. You don't want to find yourself being an icon of old wineskin that the divine cannot pour into, or else she will waste her good libation. Okay. And this top shelf, all right. And you ain't waste no. This ain't that. You know what I'm saying? That Shutter Home. You know what I'm saying? This that Napa Valley shit here. Okay, we can't waste the Napa Valley, baby. We're not gonna do that. This good. That's that good France. You know, Sauvignon. That's that shit. We ain't wasting that. Okay. So you want to recalibrate and adjust. Procrastination is a sign that you are in a season to take the opportunity to recalibrate. Number three, the desire to go into a period of solitude. Periods of subconscious recalibrating. Now, this one is a bit different because it's a recalibration that happens subconsciously. It's not so forefront, okay? It's a circumstance, yes, but it's a subconscious circumstance. Something's going on back here instinctively that is saying, I just want to be left alone. I just need to be alone. Don't even know why. Maybe there's frustrations and things like that, but for the most part, ain't nothing really going on in life that ain't been going on. Just, I need to be alone. I don't want to deal with this shit no more. The desire for periods of solitude subconsciously. A subconscious recalibration is happening, requiring your complete attention. See, this is why you feel inspired to pull away from the demands outside of you because something subconsciously is recalibrating and you are longing to pay attention. This is why you must honor your desire for solitude, irregardless of who don't like it or who don't understand it. Okay? You have to honor that itch to go into the sage's cave. You have to honor that itch to move your consciousness into your inner sanctuary. Your recalibration at the subconscious is requiring your complete attention to your subconscious workings. What is working in you subconsciously so that you can avoid frustration, so you can avoid unintended displays of anger, as well to avoid getting stuck in the desire for solitude, which moves you into a period of isolation. See, solitude, healthy. Isolation, not so healthy. In isolation, you have become complacent. So if you spend, if you say, okay, I just don't want to be bothered, and you go into what could be solitude, but if you don't observe the recalibration that is happening or the circumstances taking place in your subconscious that is causing you to want to desire to be in solitude, if you don't go within, then you just simply move into isolation, complacency, lackadaisical. Don't want to get up, do nothing, don't want to. Solitude. Now, this was profound when she said to me this. She said, remember, solitude is a part of journey. Solitude is intended for you to journey through it. It is designed for you to, like, solitude doesn't necessarily mean stagnation. You can be in solitude walking through the Grand Canyon by yourself. You see, solitude is not stasisness always, sometimes, but even then the energy surrounding solitude is a journey through. It's not the destination. So even when you have periods of solitude, that is pointing to that you might be entering a recalibration, it is to understand that you are journeying through solitude for the purposes of observing your inner workings and recalibrating something at the at the subconscious level. It's not the destination, it's the journey through. Number four, extreme, and I mean extreme, unexplainable. Been to the doctor, you're fine. Everything's fine. You're eating your vegetables, you're doing your walks, you got everything's going good, boom, boom, boom. And then you have this bout of extreme, unexplainable exhaustion. Baby, it's like you're tired, like you ain't never been tired before. Now I had one of these days, and it doesn't last generally long, maybe anywhere from 24 to 72 hours. So if you tired a little longer than that, you might want to go back to the doctor. Okay. You know what I mean? But it's very spiritual and it's very unexplainable because just out of nowhere and everything's fine. You're actually very rested. You're getting your rest. You're not overworking yourself. You're remaining in flow state. Everything's good. Everything's feel good, you know. But then you wake up one morning, one rising, like I did the other day, and I sat on the edge of the bed. I had a whole night's sleep. I just want you to understand. Um, Rested good. I had been resting fine. Sat up on the side of the bed, and in about 60 seconds flat, my eyes was back to, and I was like, "The hell going on? Hell going on?" I just woke up. Like it's not. I want you to understand because you know when you just wake up, you still be kind of waking up. You know what I'm saying? But that's different. This was like I had the narcolepsy or something. This was heavy. I woke up, but the grogginess was not just your regular grogginess, y'all. It was like, this ain't this. What is this? So I sat there and I'm like, okay, I'm probably just not woke yet. I'm gonna be all right. Get up and go take me a shower and everything and be fine. Sat there for a second too long and was back to, mm. And I mean, even when I tried to like keep them open, my eyes, it was like something was pulling down the blinds. You understand what I'm saying? It was like, and I'm trying to like, let's get up. Let's. We got readings to do and everything. We got stuff to do. This is what we do every morning. No, we ain't going back to sleep. So I got up. I would have took me a shower. Boom. I'm like, okay, the shower gonna get it. It's gonna knock it out of me. So I'm in the shower. Boom. Got out. Put me on some clothes. Sat down to my desk to do my reading. And girlfriend, somebody started pulling the blinds down on my eyes, bro. It was like, what is happening? And I'm sitting and I'm saying, okay, maybe I just need to go into meditation and just, really tap into my spirit team. That's what I do every morning. Tap into my spirit team. We're going to get things going, get the readings going, everything going to be all right. So I sat here. And before I know it, it was like somebody was just doing this to my eye, like, bitch, close your eyes. And I was just nodding. And it's like, why am I so sleepy? So I sat there a little longer. And I'm trying to get my spirit team to explain to me, why am I so tired? I'm like, somebody throwing witchcraft? Somebody doing something? I didn't feel that though. I didn't. I said, let me stop fighting it. I went on, got back in the bed. Now it's about 10 a.m. now. I got back in the bed. I slept from 10 a.m. easily till about 4, uninterrupted. Tossing and turning a little bit, but mainly uninterrupted. I woke up. Okay, now I done been asleep for a minute, y'all. I woke up, sat on the edge of the bed, like I did that morning. I'm like, okay, I gotta be good. Now I'm straight. No, ma'am, you're not. And here we go again, like this cloak of just sleepiness. And I'm like, yo, but I had to get up because I had to go check on my boy. I ain't seen him all day. They right upstairs. Like I got to go at least set my eyes on them, maybe get me something to eat. You know what I'm saying? Like I got to at least do that. I got me something to eat, watch me some YouTube, watch me some tarot read or something that I like to watch. And um the sleep sat on me again. And I went back to sleep. I did. I had no choice. This is what I mean by unexplainable exhaustion. In my most tired state, I'm not that damn tired. You understand? I'm not that tired, even when I am tired. It's unexplainable. But when I got up the next day, because I did sleep, I slept all night again, got up around 4 a.m., 5 a.m., like I normally do. And it was like, okay, and I started thinking about new things I could do, and I started implementing new things, and I started working on, like it's a lot of research behind the scenes that I'm doing to bring better what I feel is growth to my channel, to my spiritual practice, to my relationship with divine. Like then there's the soul and the spirit and that relationship, and I'm tapping in, and I'm locking in on this new refreshing, this new circumstance. And then they started to break bread and explain to me where I am still applying old methods to a new circumstance. And so now, here days later, the mother asked me, "What's real to you?" And I said, "I feel like I'm being recalibrated." Well, there you go. These are just four of the signs that most recently. Now, the procrastination is something that I I don't even say I'm challenged with it. I take it as a sign that something in the subconscious needs adjusting. Like when I was preparing this message, as I was sharing with y'all, and I was stalling. Now I have a process, but then it just got to be like, okay, what you waiting on? Push record, let's get it. And I asked my spirit to myself, what is that I'm feeling? Like that resistance. Because I'm ready. I got notes and everything. Shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm ready to go. But there's resistance. What is that? And they broke it down. That subconsciously there's something playing out that you're not aware of, that has been projected and internalized subconsciously, that ain't even yours. You don't need it. It's useless to you. You can just let it go. And that's what I did. And that allowed me to push record. And that allowed me to be here to present to you what the mother had to say. Now, in my closing, all right, as I'm getting ready to wrap this up, this is the last thing she said to me. The art of recalibration, the power of recalibration is built on the wisdom of what worked last season may not work this season. How do I adjust? Is the questions you want to ask. How do I adjust? What do I adjust? And why do I adjust it? Is this strategy, tool, relationship, partnership, collaboration, resource, etc., honoring the expansion of the season that I'm in? Mm. The art of recalibration is rooted in the understanding that every new period, every new season of expansion is preceded. I want you to catch this now. Is preceded by a season of reduction. Every new period, every new season of expansion is preceded by a season of reduction. The plus requires the minus. And when we can harmonize our energy towards that universal principle right there, because we don't like the reduction. Mm-mm. We want expansion, right? But we don't like reduction because we have been taught to view loss from an egocentric centered mind. We have been taught to view loss not as releasing, but as in losing. And that's not the same thing energetically. What we are releasing, we are viewing as losing. Personal power, in my mind anyway, tells me that I have to redefine that. So for me, and I share with you, as a person who has experienced what others looked at that time as me losing, for me it wasn't losing. It took me a little minute to understand this, but eventually it got to the point to where I realized I haven't lost a damn thing. I haven't lost nothing. I have released what no longer serves me. And that is my personal power in operation. That is the power of recalibration in operation. And now, people who thought I was losing are baffled by my expansion because they don't understand what I understand. There is no expansion without reduction. When you hold on to something, some people, some relationships, something longer than you should, because you don't want to lose it, you are telling the universe over and over again that you are not ready for expansion. You could do all the candle smells, all the sweetening jars, all the blow the cinnamon in the dough, all the put the nickel in the coin on the flow, all the, you can do all of that. But understanding the working of expansion, reduction, and the ebb and flow of that is where the real mystery behind unlimited potential is founded, is produced. Unlimited potential is a result of understanding. To expand, something has to be released. And it kind of feels expansive in the body when you let that conceptually like trickle down, you know. I don't know how y'all receive download and impartation and but when you let it and then just kind of sit with it and feel the expansiveness, you're unlimited in what you can do. You just have to make peace with reduction, loss. You can't fear losing. And when you stop fearing losing, the loss turns into releasing. It turns into periods of shedding. It turns into periods of solitude. It turns into periods of that doesn't work right now. I can't be like functioning that way right now because I said I wanted expansion. And that tool, that person, that connection, that mindset, that self perception will not align me to what I wanted. So I have to lose or reduce the time I put in that, the time I put in him, the time I put in her, the time I spend on the job. I have to reduce somewhere. Because when you reduce, where you are reducing, what you're actually doing is releasing the energy, whether it's finances, whether it's your heart space, your emotional body, your mental energy, your spiritual, you're reducing it in one aspect of life. You're taking that energy and putting it over here where you want expansion. There is no addition without subtraction. When I come back, I don't know if it would be the very next message, but at some point, because she broke this down to me and basically was telling me that we have been given this false math that we've been given in school and shit. We're gonna get into that at a future date. This math that where numbers just come out of fucking nowhere. 5 plus 5 goes to 6 plus 5. I don't know. Where'd you get the extra one? If there was no reduction. I just out of nowhere. With these false numbers and this false way of looking at how the universe expands, this mathematics that most of us have all been given is it's not applicable, which is why we haven't really understood expansion. For those of you who have, you'll understand what I'm saying. The shit just don't come out of thin air. It just don't come out of thin air. If you have 5 apples, let me just give you this nugget and then I'm gonna get out your way. If you have 5 apples and you want to add to those, you got 5 apples in front of you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You want another apple. You want to make it 6 apples. Where you gonna get the other apple? It's not gonna come out of thin air. I can promise you that. You're gonna have to go over here to the basket where there's a basket of apples, real apples, and you're gonna have to reduce by one. You understand what I'm saying? One apple out of this basket over here is 30 apples over here. Real apples, tangible apples. I'm going to have to reduce that 30 by one to add it to these 5 so that I now have 6 in front of me. So we have been conditioned with this out of the air. This is the way we apply ourselves to our finances. This is the way we apply ourselves to shit like credit and loans and all of this. And it's a part of the whole monopoly system. But the mother is saying there is no addition without subtraction. So we have to become comfortable and know how to recalibrate when we are needing to reduce. Reduce who we let have access to us, what we give our energy to. You're going to have to reduce over here so that you can take that energy and apply it over here so you can have the expansion over here that you want to see. But we get nervous when we got to take away. We get scared when we got to take away because we're in our ego. This has been Sacred Empowerments of the Divine Feminine. I hope something was said, my sisters, to bring you some confirmation, clarity, empowerment. I appreciate all of you always for being here with me. Please leave me a comment. Let me know how the message reverberated with you. And I will see you guys on the next one. Make sure you like, share, and hype it up if you have one to spare. Peace, family.